This is the story of Pinfante Gingele, a democracy activist from Togo who sought safety for himself and his family in the United States through asylum. Though it is only the size of West Virginia, tiny Togo has drawn international headlines for the strong-arm tactics of its dictator and military forces. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice called it an outpost of tyranny, and human rights experts say that the political crisis there ranks among Africa's most serious problems.
If the United States said, no, you don't stay here, I wonder, what should be my life?
He wasn't actually particularly political. His big issue was he came from a small town where no one knew how to read, and he, through a sort of luck, met some people who were literate and became literate himself and saw this as the future of his country and his people.
We know a little bit, so we have to explain always to those people who don't understand enough.
He became very passionate about learning, and the schools, the public schools, were, in some places non-existent, in other places of very poor quality, and he viewed that as related to the regime.
What the government, when they see that those people who are able to understand many things and explain to everybody to try to change people's mind. That's the people they always target. So I was one of the targets.
He was a member of an opposition party. He had gradually more public participation in the party, and initially, the interactions with the military forces and with the police were, being chased away from a square where they were demonstrating, or, being harassed when he was trying to, supervise an election, and it escalated to much more serious interactions, culminating with he participated in a protest right as there was a regime change.
The dictator, excuse me, that's the name we know of our president. When he died, the officers just took the son of the president and just said the son replaced the father for president.
And a lot of the opposition parties protested, and he was involved in that protest, and he was in the main city in Togo, couldn't get back to his home. His wife was pregnant at the time, and the military went to the home looking for him.
That's the night they went to my house, and my wife, she was intimidated to tell them where I was hiding.
And they ended up attacking his then pregnant wife. She was ultimately fine. She fled to Benin, and that was sort of the precipitating event that made him decide he needed to leave permanently.
So I came in New York and I applied for asylum so that I can stay instead of going back home and get killed.
I wasn't on his case at the very beginning when he went and made the affirmative application. He had a different lawyer then.
He never asked me some questions. She just asked me my document, all the document he needs to apply.
And his application, his affirmative application was denied.
I did not have a good lawyer, to be honest.
And he sort of floundered around for a while trying to figure out what to do with that and how to go into the next stage of the process, and ended up connecting with Human Rights First.
I paid already $2,000 to that lawyer. I don't have any. So let me check if I can check with Human Rights First how we can work.
We try to focus on people who don't have the means to pay for counsel themselves, and the fact that we provide those services for free through the efforts of pro bono volunteers is critical for people in that situation.
He comes to the office. The main document that you prepare is the affidavit, and that you spend a lot of time on that because you need to get it right.
She worked very, very, very good. All the details.
We spent quite a long time working on just the affidavit and getting the story down. And then we spent a fair amount of time with him trying to figure out who he knew that could corroborate parts of his story. The main event is the individual hearing where your client will testify, and the judges are quite active.
I was scared because it was my second time, and I think it was my last time too.
I think he had almost lost hope about being granted asylum by the time we got to the end. I mean, it had been a very long time, and he had been very disappointed by the referral to immigration court.
My thinking was that maybe the judge will say the same thing, and if she says so, what is going to happen to me?
And in our case, we had a very active judge.
So I thought about my wife, who was living in exile with my baby daughter. She was not born when I left, and she born there. She grew up behind me. So this one was, it was very great for me to hear from the judge that you got asylum. I know that I will be reunified with my family. So I was stuck. I don't know what to say. But I was very, very happy. Yeah.